Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is I, the Corporal, bringing you a review on the Nerf Shellstrike DS6. So, um, uh, lost track of my. This is actually take 3. Yeah, I'm kind of like going, making mess ups. So let's get the ad out of the way. Buy my book, The Epic Acacia's Crossroads, at authorhouse.com, where you could get the physical copy or the ebook. Go on to enjoy your new Western adventure into strange yet familiar lands, filled with all types of dangers and treasures, and really pissed off people. Ha ha ha! So, let's get on to the review. So, the Nerf Shellstrike DS6 is an interesting blaster in that it is one of, I believe, 3 Nerf, technically 4 Nerf blasters that use shells. It uses the Elite. This is called the Elite Shell. And I think the DS means Dart Shell 6. Why is it 6? Because you only got 2 with the blaster. I was lucky to even find 1 with this blaster. So, yeah, that's kind of a ripoff. This thing should have came with 3. But you can see I have several problems with this blaster already. And they don't really fall into the categories and all that. So, like, FPS was 55 because I tried measuring the FPS, okay? So, that one, take it with a grain of salt. Accessories, I'm saying, I originally said okay, but I had to do a little bit of research. No. That's bad. Sling attachment point, it has one under here. It's okay. Comfort, it's okay, but you don't. I thought the trigger was kind of dumb. It kind of hurt, but I'm not firing it all the time, so I'm gonna actually say comfort is actually good because it never really comes into play. Looks, I say, looks okay now because I was saying my point in that if you sawed off a lot of it, the blaster would look cooler, and I realized no. It doesn't. I saw it sawed off without the bottom part, and I'm like, nah, it doesn't look like what I wanted it to look like. But, so, because I think it looks cool, but I think it doesn't need this. I think this is just a bit too much. And then seeing it without it, I'm like, yeah, it didn't look right either. So, I say it looks okay. Profile, it's pretty good. No one's going to think this is a real thing. Tactical points, I said it was bad. I'm going to go to okay now. Because I was back and forth about it because I couldn't remember if there was an attachment. It was third party or was an actual Nerf attachment made for this blaster that holds extra shells. And it does. It'll be weird. Like, yeah, it'll be quite awkward, but you can hold up to 6 shells actually with this thing. So, okay. I'm going to say it's okay. Can't do the rockets, can't do the megas. Internals, I said it was okay because I didn't know. No, the internals are pretty good. They're weird, but they're good. Modability, I said okay. Nope. Apparently, again, you can saw all of this off and attach it onto put a tactical rail on it and go poop, attach it underneath the blaster. It's pointless now, but just because you could do that, it's pretty rad, and you can increase the spring and all that. So, practicality. This is where it gets interesting. Because this thing, when it comes to using shell blasters, it really is like, are they practical? With the Sledgefire, you could just, when you pop out the shell, you could pull it out, put it in the little thing, the whatchamacallit, that holds the shells, and put in the other one. Perfectly fine. You could do that with this too, essentially. But you can't really do that with the other blaster, the Trinity, because it ejects the shells out and sends them flying. So, but also you're firing a shotgun versus firing a regular blaster. You want the spread and all that. So, but this blaster does have something over the Sledgefire and the Trinity in that you never need to eject the. I hate that. I hate that it doesn't eject that. You never have to do that because you could just front load it and it'll be perfectly fine. You have 3 darts in there. Ta-da. Should I fire it right here? Silencer. Man, I tanked it like a man right in the face. Yeah, you could just, and then just pick up your darts, do that. There you go. So, it is more, technically, just as practical as a rough cut because of that. Because, again, you're walking around, you're just picking up your darts and firing them, and if you really do need to quickly reload, this is not a quick reload, it's probably quicker to put in the darts, but you do have that option of just putting that aside, pulling out the other one, plopping it in there, pulling it off there. If you have the attachment, it's better. Going pew, pew, and all that. It is not impractical whatsoever. It's good. Price. This thing retailed for $15, and I got this for $3.99. I might have actually gotten it for half of that too. I don't remember. Yeah, I say it's good. $15 and you get like the 2 shells. Perfectly fine. You probably would never find it. If anything, you're probably finding it at Ross for half the price, and you might even find the other shells, the refill pack thing. But like 2 for $15, yeah, that's a good price. You get all those shells out of it, which would be more than enough that you need, and all that. So the results: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, but I do have to get into something else about this because it says it's a good blaster and all that. I do have to get into a thing that bothers me about it. Why aren't the shells the same? That bothers me so much because we could have had essentially a refill pack for the Sledgefire, as well as having this this new blaster, the other one. And I know why. It's because they made a Trinity and they wanted to have that ejection system. But it ruins this blaster so much having this shell system because no one used the Trinity anyway. I say this is better than the Trinity. I almost had one too, but I didn't buy it because it's like, why? Because the Sledgefire is so much better. No one 3D prints these either. Because look how thick that is. No, the thin ones are better. But like, it would have fit. It probably would have had look how much room is saved in there. You could have put the ejection system in this. Even if not, just like imagine this like plunger tube with firing these and all that. Could have the ejection system to eject it out. You could have fit 3 of these things in here. This blaster would have been way better if it used this old system. And it doesn't. It uses this bolt, and it's like, okay. It's bulkier. You can find it easier in case you lose it. And all that. It's sturdier. Look at that. Versus this. It's like, I probably could crush this. And it's a bit of a disappointment to me, though. Because this blaster could have been smaller. You didn't need all of this. You could literally, this blaster would have been better if it didn't have the breach system, if it didn't have the extra loading thing, if it was an actual shotgun, in that all of this was just one thing. And I hope that Nerf, if anybody at Nerf does this, sees this video, that you just, for Elite 2.0 Wild Edition, you just re-release this blaster, either with the Sledgefire shells instead, or make it like, take off all of this, just keep this system, just this look, don't even have the breach system and all that, just cut it off, and just have it that you front load this thing and it's a shotgun. That's all I want in a Nerf blaster. Because it did remind me of Gene Starwin's blast, his caster shells. And I was like, man, if this had the ejection, if this was smaller again, which it could have been, it could have had the right profile for me to have Gene Starwin's caster gun and all that. and I would have had the shell capability with it. So that saddens me. But it doesn't sadden me to the point where I might actually get myself a second one of these, paint it up to look like Gene's blaster, and just go with this as the blaster as well. There is a good possibility I will have 3 caster guns, because I'm going to be constantly experimenting and all that. So, what does this fall under, though? It really is like a secondary and all that. But I could see this also being primary. Like, you could guns akimbo this thing. 2 shotguns. You could be a hobo with a shotgun. So it is your secondary, and it is a, technically it's a clip springer, but you could make it an extra as well. Buy, skip, or novelty? That is a question that is very interesting, because this is not necessary, and this is actually like a really hard pick because of the shells again. If it doesn't have the shells, it's a big skip. If it does have the shells, it's a buy. If you just find the shells by themselves, just buy the shells by themselves. But it's like these are effectively like a one of those exclusive proprietary mags, essentially. Like, you are using a blaster with a proprietary mag, and I'm very questioning, like, is that a good idea? Good idea. Maybe there's a mod that lets you use these type of shells in it, because I think you can activate all the air restrictors with this thing. Let me see. We're doing science here, people. We're doing science. No, not really. Maybe there is a mod that lets you use these shells instead. But yeah, it's very novelty and all that. I believe this is a must-have blaster just for the shells, in case there's ever another shell blaster that comes out. But yeah, it's but I'm also could see why it's skippable, because if it's incomplete, you can't use it and all that. But these, you could collect a bunch of these, and one day you might find this or the Trinity, and you have everything you need. So yeah, it's kind of a little bit of a bummer video, because it's a neat. I do like this blaster, but again, it's like with the Battle Scout, it could have been so much more, and it's not. And well, thank you all very much, ladies and gentlemen. Leave comments. I actually will respond to your comments and all that. Tell me what you want me to call you guys, fan base wise. I'm gonna compile a poll of the different names for the fandom. Also, buy my book. And most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, you all have a nice day. Bye-bye.